So I've spent 6 months with the Samsung Galaxy Book 3 Pro 360, and I must say, this laptop for a thin and light UltraBook still tops the charts from performance and the overall usability of this laptop. It's truly second to none in my book. Now there's a couple other laptops that when we get into the performance section, I would recommend if you're looking for some alternatives. But if I were gonna pick a laptop for performance and usability, this is a masterpiece. Now, first and foremost, jumping into the build quality of the laptop, we have aluminum top cover, bottom cover, side panels, keyboard deck. I mean, it is just built very well. Anyone can find anything on the internet, including your full legal name, your personal email, your home address, phone number, and even your relatives. That's why I'm excited to tell you about today's sponsor, Aura. We've been using Aura to monitor our personal information online for over a year now and have been able to reclaim control of our personal data. This information is accessible because of data brokers who profit by selling your information to robocallers, telemarketers, spammers, and anyone else that wants to learn more about you. You can use my link by going to aura.com/BenjiKaiser to try a 2-week free trial to see how many data brokers are sharing your information. Aura's app also features a VPN, password manager, real-time credit and identity theft monitor, internet parental controls, and protects your devices from malware. Aura has almost every internet safety tool you'll ever need, all inside one app. Let Aura do the hard work of keeping you safe online. If you sign up right now, Aura will give you a 2-week free trial with my link in the video description. Now, going ahead and taking a look at the flex of the chassis, this is an area with the Book 2 that I really had complaints on, but they definitely stiffened up the chassis a lot more to make it more rigid and durable. I definitely love that we have HDMI, 2 USB Type-Cs, as well as USB Type-A, and a micro SD card reader and a headphone jack. So you got great connectivity. You can expand your storage with the micro SD card reader. So let's say you're on a trip and you want to bring along some small, compact storage devices to back up your footage. Bring along a little pouch of micro SD card readers instead of some big storage drive, and you can easily be backing up your footage. I love that adapter. It makes this laptop a breeze to take on the go. Now, one thing that I don't love about this laptop, however, is the magnet for the pen. I'd rather have them send along like maybe a little sleeve to put the laptop in, and then you could slide the pen into the sleeve. I would really wish they had an area where you could just shove the pen into the laptop. However, usually when they do that, they give you a smaller pen. So I wouldn't want them to make a smaller pen. I really like the size of this pen. It's good and thick. However, I feel like this pen would be very easy to lose, only having it with the option to magnet to the top. Otherwise, you want to make sure you keep it in a specific place in your backpack or in some sort of, carrying case, whatever it might be, so you don't lose it. Because not gonna lie, I've lost one of these pens before. Now, the next thing I want to take a look at, though, is the assembly of this laptop. The bottom cover is fit in very nicely to the side panels. It is a beautiful assembly. Now, one thing I'm going to complain about, though, is these feet. These are very similar to the MacBook Pro feet of years past, and they were always popping off, and I was always having to replace them. So I just don't love this design. I think they could do a much better job having the feet more secured to the chassis so you don't end up losing those feet. I haven't lost any yet, and I've had it for 6 months, but over the years of use, like when I had a MacBook Pro, I found that these feet ended up popping off and I lost them, and it was kind of annoying. Well, it was very annoying. Now, we haven't talked about it, but the weight and thickness of this laptop is insane. This is an i7-1360p processor with 1 terabyte of SSD and 16 gigs of RAM, and all of that fits into a nice thin and light chassis. Now, if you're looking for something a little bit more beefy, check out the Galaxy Book 3 Ultra. However, that's not a 2-in-1 laptop, and it does not have a touchscreen which interacts with the pen. So that's gonna be more of a powerhouse for like video editing, After Effects, design work, stuff like that. This is going to be much more for a photographer, digital artist, or graphic designer. All right, now let's go ahead and get this thing opened up. We do have a webcam on the top bezel. Here's a quick sample of it if you didn't catch it during my full review. This is the webcam on the Samsung Galaxy Book 3 Pro 360, and a little sample of the audio for you as well. Now, this screen is gorgeous. It's a 3K AM display, reaches 412 nits of brightness at 100% sRGB, 97% Adobe RGB, and 99% DCI-P3. Great screen, bright, color accurate. I love it. Comes with a 78 watt hour battery, which provided us fantastic battery life for such a large laptop. We saw 12 hours of productivity, 14 hours of streaming video playback, 6 hours of Photoshop work, and 4.5 hours of video editing. Now that was all accomplished on quiet mode with the laptop set at 20% screen brightness and Windows battery saver mode turned on. And that is the kind of secret potion for my battery life results that you see here. Now looking at the interior of the laptop here, we have a nice short key press. It's kind of like short to medium. It's not quite as short as like a butterfly keyboard, dumpster fire from Apple. And then we have the numpad on the right side, arrow keys, full-size shift keys, fantastic keyboard setup. All toting a large trackpad. This trackpad is gorgeous. It has a beautiful click. I mean, it just feels so nice under my hand as I click it. Large glass trackpad. The only thing that annoys me about this trackpad, it took me some getting used to. I had to kind of shift it over a little bit when I used it, because as I would use this, if I wanted to click on something, but I ended up with my finger way down here, and then I went to click, I would right click. Because right here, you're dividing the right click from the left click. So what I started doing is sometimes using it with two hands so I could easily make the correct click. But then if I ever wanted to, use the keyboard and the trackpad at the same time, I just had to make sure I moved my hand over to make the click. So that was annoying because it was so big that I was moving my hand to make a click, but I love how big it is. And so that's something I just had to kind of adjust my workflow to using it and make it work better. Here's a quick audio sample of me using the keyboard and trackpad so you can hear what that sounds like. And of course, the speakers are another great feature of this laptop. So here's a quick audio sample of the speakers for you. If you're curious about the exact pricing and availability of the Samsung Galaxy Book 3 Pro 360, you can head down in the description below and click those links. If you do make a purchase, I'll get a small commission, but at no extra cost to you. But of course, that's what keeps this channel alive and the helpful content coming your way. Now, going ahead and taking a look at some of the key benchmarks that really make this laptop stand out against the competitors. First and foremost, Photoshop. This laptop scores an 898, and that is for a low TDP, low power processor. By low power, I mean low power draw. Very efficient processor, the i7-1360P. There's a lot of H series gaming laptops that I've seen not even hit an 898. So this laptop has tons of performance for Photoshop. Now it does have 16 gigs of RAM, and I've talked to some comic book artist. I actually had an interview with him on my channel, and he said because of how heavy his Photoshop files were, he had hundreds and hundreds of layers. The 16 gigs of RAM wasn't quite enough for his workflow. But if you're an artist or a photographer that's not doing hundreds of layers in Photoshop, the 16 gigs of RAM should be plenty for you. But just keep that in mind if you have some odd fringe case, where you have super, super packed Photoshop files, you might want to consider another laptop where you can have 32 gigs of RAM. Now, something I mentioned during the intro was other laptop options. That are great as well. If you don't want to go for the 16-inch form factor and you're looking for something a little bit better priced, the Yoga 9i with the i7-1360P is amazing. The Asus ZenBook 14 OLED is great. The Lenovo Yoga 9i with the i7-1360P, as well as the Asus ZenBook 14 OLED. Those are some great picks with great performance and also color accurate displays, nice trackpads. So there's definitely some options to consider. Another one would be the HP Spectre X360. Love that laptop, nice large trackpad, great laptop. But as far as the top contender from 2023, this Samsung Galaxy Book 3 Pro 360 is a beast. If you're wanting a slightly smaller form factor, you could get just the straight Galaxy Book 3 Pro in a 14-inch model, and that would have the i7-1360P. Now, taking a quick look at video editing and export times, you can see the 4K export is 3 minutes and 47 seconds. That is a stellar export time out of a thin and light laptop like the Galaxy Book 3 Pro 360. Remember, this doesn't have a dedicated GPU, and that is a low TDP processor, so it's getting that great of export times for 4K footage is fantastic. Now, something of course I wanted to give you a demo of was the pen so you could see it in use. Go ahead and grab the brush tool. You can see as I paint a thick line on the screen, you press harder. And then of course the sensitivity as you lighten up, it has a very nice touch sensitivity. So this laptop screen and the pen work very well together. I'll do this again now that I kind of dimmed up the camera a bit. So nice light strokes, and then you got the thick, heavier ones and light. And so this has fantastic touch sensitivity from the pen to the screen. Great pick. Great two-in-one laptops. You can hold it more like a tablet and be able to sketch on it very easily as well. One of the best two-in-one laptops with a large trackpad, color accurate screen, and insane performance, all with great battery life. However, it will come at a cost. It's one of the more expensive UltraBooks, but it packs all the features that you need. Links in the description if you are ready to make a purchase, or click or tap the screen here for more videos to help with your purchasing decision. I'll see you in the next one.